Hey glitter friends! In today's tutorial we will cover part 1 of the Love You to Death design with glitter, power wash, and vinyl striping included. So let's get started. We're going to start off with a 24-ounce plump from the Steel Magnolia Company. With a little elbow grease, this bottom seal can easily be removed. I'm going to take my hammer and my flathead screwdriver that has a very thin point and show you just how easy it is to remove this. Simply place your screwdriver right on the edge of the seal and take your hammer and give it a couple of good hits. After that, it should easily pop off. I will say, while I did this on a tabletop just so you guys could have a really good view of what I'm doing, I highly recommend you do this on a soft surface like your carpet. It will afford you the better opportunity to hold it more evenly and to have less chance of your cups sliding around. Okay, so after I've gone in and properly sanded and prepped my cup, I'm going to take my straight edge triangle here. Don't judge, it's pretty dingy, but it's well loved. And I am just going to mark off the center design portion of this tumbler. This 24-ounce plump from Steel Magnolia is about 8 inches tall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the 4-inch mark and measure a 1/2 inch on either side of that. These little measurement lines will serve as the perfect guide point because the tape that I'll be using today to mark this is 1-inch painter's tape. So once you've got your tape in place, it is now time to spray paint. Unlike other videos, today I'm going to be showing you something a little different. We're actually going to be using our spray paint as our adhesive layer for our glitter as well. I'm going to be going in with candy pink gloss from Rustoleum because it is just the absolute perfect glitter match from Mayhaw from Mr. NOLA'S glitter. To get the best possible glitter coverage in just one step like this, you're going to want to use an even coat of spray paint, not too thick because drips will show. Then you're going to want to bring it in immediately, have your glitter station set up, and put your glitter on right away. After you finish glittering, I tend to like to pull my tape immediately, just so there's no issues of it sticking, and I can tell if I need to touch anything up. Once I'm sure I'm happy with my results, I will set it aside for a few hours to dry, and then I will hit it with a couple of coats of clear coat just so my glitter doesn't move. Okay, so what I'm going to do now here is a little hack that you can use if you don't want to have to paint the section of your tumbler before you glitter it. What you see here is a piece of 1-inch thick removable red vinyl. I'm just going to go and very carefully place it here in the middle. You'll notice that it is slightly thinner than the stainless steel that you see there because I didn't want to have to worry about it accidentally pulling any of my glitter off, and it really doesn't matter because the next step we're going to use will cover it perfectly. As you can see here, I'm trying to be pretty meticulous and placing it in the center. That's another really good reason I like to use removable vinyl because it is a little bit more flexible, and if you need to peel it back up, you're not going to deal with as many issues of it ripping and whatnot. Once you get your placement right and you're happy with it, just trim off the excess vinyl and then take your little spatula or whatever it is you use on hand to work out any air bubbles you might find. Once you're completely happy with how it's laying on your tumbler, we are ready for our next step, which will be to apply our red glitter. Okay, so what you see me preparing to cut right here is a piece of double-sided adhesive tape. There are several different brands out there that you can use. I've tried a lot of different ones. Honestly, they're all pretty comparable. What you're going to do is you're going to also cut this into a 1-inch strip. If you'd like to use the same brand I'm using today, I want to say that this is a form of 3M adhesive vinyl I got on Amazon. So what I'm going to do now is cut a little strip of this off, exposing some of the adhesive backing. This is actually called the hinge method, and I like to use it because I feel like it just makes it a little easier to get a good application started. After you've got that first initial little piece applied, you're just going to simply start pulling the backing off from the rest, kind of rolling it around the cup. You'll see I'm not quite sure what I managed to do here in true Megan fashion, but I've got a little bit of an indent where I have cut the tape. No worries, because I will show you how we're going to fix that in just a minute. As I'm nearing the end of rolling this around and applying all of the adhesive, I can tell that I'm going to have a pretty good section left. So what you see me doing here is I'm just simply going to cut that part out where there's a little piece of missing adhesive and use the rest and roll that on there as smoothly as possible. If you happen to get a wrinkle or do something like this, just simply go through and try to pat it down to make it as flat as possible so you won't see that indentation in your glitter. Well, it would have been super easy for me to just edit this out and move along with the tutorial. I try to keep things like this in here because I think it's super important to remember as crafters that 1, we're all human, and 2, there's literally so many different ways to fix a mistake. So you definitely haven't screwed it up, and you definitely can fix it. Once you've gotten your double-sided adhesive all smoothed out, then it's time to go in with our second glitter choice of today. For this part, I am using a very gorgeous glitter for the red called Boiling Mad Junior from Mr. NOLA'S glitter as well. This is a fine cut glitter and also holographic, so you should have really good glitter coverage with this and only need 1 layer. If you are new to Mr. NOLA'S glitter and want to purchase these glitters I am using today, please be sure to check out the information section of this tutorial because I have codes for you. There are codes for returning customers and a really, really good one for first-time customers ordering. Once I'm happy with that glitter coverage, I'm going to go in with this little makeup brush that I picked up from the Dollar Tree and dust off any excess glitter. I will hit this with a couple of coats of clear spray paint and then put a layer of epoxy on before our next step. Once that epoxy has fully dried, I will give it a good sanding so it's ready for our power wash. For those of you who are super sensitive to smells like me, be sure to pick up the free and clear version of this power wash. So I've taken my cup, my power wash, and my paint outside for this step. As you can see, I'm going to take my down power wash and I'm simply going to spray evenly all over this epoxied cup. If you find that you haven't got quite the pattern that you were looking for, simply wipe this off and start again. Once you're happy with your power wash pattern, quickly grab the same spray paint that we used earlier and do quick light coats covering the entire tumbler. You're going to want to be really close to your water source, in my case a water hose, to clean this off really quick before it has a chance to clump and dry. If I'd been smarter, I would have remembered to tape off this middle section, but here we are. So now I'm just going to take my acetone and some tape and wrap it around there gently after I have kind of taken some of the sticky off of it by laying it down on the table. You don't want to mess up your power wash. And I'm just going to clean up that glitter section that just needs to be red. Now it's time to take care of this bottom section where we popped off this lid. I'll be using my Mr. NOLA'S Glitter Speed Dry Epoxy for this step. I'm going to mix up 10 milliliters of part A and part B into a separate cup. I like to mix my epoxy with a wooden stir stick and I mix it pretty vigorously. So I've sped it up here for you so you don't have to wait along with me. I generally stir for about 2 minutes time, making sure to spend a lot of the time scraping the sides. Once I think my epoxy is fully mixed, I'm going to take my Boiling Mad Junior yet again, and I'm going to dump a healthy amount into my epoxy. You'll notice here that I do this in 2 separate settings, simply because I want to get it all mixed in the first time, check to see if I have enough, and then add more if I need a little extra bling. Once that's all mixed up, I'll set my stir stick to the side, but not throw it away because you will need again, and I will start to very slowly pour this into the bottom of this tumbler, turning the tumbler as I go. You'll try to be very careful as you do this because you definitely don't want to overfill that, because that could cause an uneven tumbler bottom. Once it's filled to just right below the rim of that pink that you see right there, you're going to take your stir stick and you're going to even it out around the edges and clean up any spots that you think maybe there shouldn't be red glitter. Once you're happy with how it's filled, you're going to grab your torch and hit it a couple of times to pop any remaining bubbles, and wait a couple hours for it to be dry. It's now time to start the first of our vinyl work. I personally like to layer my vinyl, such as my stripes here, and put these down first, then put a layer of epoxy, then move on to the other decals. As you can see here, we are going to be using 2 pinstripes laid on top of each other. One is a 0.1 height in Cricut Design Space, and then the white that we'll lay on top of that is a 0.05. Because we used painter's tape for these earlier steps, we have a pretty clean, crisp line. Boy, that's hard to say. And we can use that as a template for laying our stripes. You're just going to pick a starting point and then gently work your way around until you get to the other side. You will have some excess depending on how long you cut these, but I always think it's a little better to have them too long than to have them too short, right? It's a little hard to tell, but if you can look closely, you can see I've intentionally left just the smallest of little gaps there. I do this when I'm creating borders like this and I know a decal will go over it, because if it's not layered over each other, I feel like I have less chance of my vinyl lifting under epoxy. Now continue on by simply taking your 0.5 white vinyl stripes and laying them directly in the center of your graphite ones. Okay, so now we're going to jazz up this bottom rim of the tumbler just a bit. What you see here is a circle slice that I cut in Cricut Design Space. I started out with a circle that was 2.5 inches wide and just used the slice feature. You can make this rim as thick or as thin as you want. It really doesn't matter since it fits right there inside the pink. It's not going to change how you put the placement. I have found it's a lot easier if you slice the circle before you start applying it, just because it allows you to get it exactly where you want and you're not as likely to mess up. Okay, so now that that is applied and all straight, I'm going to let this layer of vinyl, my striping, and this bottom striping adhere for a couple of hours before I place another layer of epoxy. And we're going to wrap up part 1 of our tutorial right there. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel to catch part 2 and all of our other videos. See you next time. Bye.